All right, let's talk about the Eagles defense and what they're aiming to do with the Niners offense.
Yeah, it would seem obvious based on how they executed last week that they will look to keep everything in front of them. It seemed that they played the vast majority of the game with two deep safeties and tried to keep everything in front of them with the bend but don't break mentality. And they did get gashed. The start of that game, the first half up until the 2-minute drive, was a very close game. I mean, it was back and forth. The Falcons just failed to put the ball in the end zone when they got down inside the red zone, but they were moving the ball. They were gashing them on run plays. It certainly appeared as though it was going to be a close game until it wasn't. So I tried to look up, what is Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator's strategy, going to be going into this? And from what I saw on Sunday, he had a lot of different defensive fronts that he put out there. I believe it was 18 different players rotated in and out on defense. On the linebacker level, he actually, toward the end of the game for the second half, was platooning in different linebacking cores for expected run or pass plays. So I think, again, you get into a scenario where potentially you have a bit of a predictable scenario that Kyle Shanahan, as a very experienced play caller, should be able to take advantage of. I mean, if I'm Kyle Shanahan and I see you substitute into a package where I know you're expecting run, and I have a team that's capable of doing everything out of the same formation, I'm now going to keep those guys on the field with a no-huddle offense, and I'm going to dominate in whatever way is opposite of the scheme that you thought as a defensive coordinator. So if you put in those linebackers that are great against the run, great. I'm going to be throwing it and keeping the ball moving and keeping Jimmy just alert going down the field. To me, that's an area of opportunity in attacking this.
Look, I'm not an expert on Jonathan Gannon and the Eagles defense, although I know a little bit about him. I watched their game, but the way I'm thinking they're going to attack this, or the way I would, they're a split safety defense. Okay. Sure, they like to run cover 2 and stuff like that. So you think, all right, okay, 7 in the box, let's run the ball. Well, here's what I would do if I was facing Jimmy Garoppolo on the 49ers. I would play split safety too, but I would have those guys line up about 9 yards off the ball. They wouldn't be deep. Why would I line them up deep, Rob? For what? They're not going to throw deep. I want them to throw deep. Please throw deep. No. I would have a 9-man box. That's how I would look at it. Split safeties, but they're 9 yards off the ball. That's the way Fangio used to do it, very aggressive. And you can do that because you have a really freaking good front 7. Let's call it a pass rush in Philly. I don't know about their linebackers, but they have a really freaking good pass rush. And if you do want to pass and take advantage of those safeties who are so far in, I mean, good luck. You're not going to have much time. That's going to be a low percentage throw. They don't have good linebackers, but if you're playing 9 in the box, that really helps. That's what I would do.
And their defensive line is 49ers East. It is deep. It is talented. They platoon them in and out. All 10 linemen were suited and played on Sunday. I expect the same thing. They spread out the snaps to keep them fresh, to keep them coming after the quarterback, wave after wave. So I do think that the 49ers have to be willing to take some of those deep shots, because if I'm the Eagles, I'm doing exactly what you're talking about. I am not respecting the deep ball game because historically I've not seen you do it successfully, San Francisco. And so why would I scheme against that? I'm going to do what I think you're going to try and do to me. I'm going to cover what I think you're going to do to me, and that's run the ball down my throat. So I am going to stack the line of scrimmage. I am going to play close up, make you beat me deep.
Yeah. So what are we going to do as 49ers quality control? How do you beat that? Well, what is the weakness on the Eagles defense? To me, it's not their D line. It's not their number one corner, Darius Slay. He can cover Deebo Samuel for sure. The Lions didn't have anyone who could cover Deebo, so the Niners targeted him 12 times. Also have a really good free safety, Anthony Harris. So Kittle, the Eagles' weakness, as you pointed out, is their linebackers. They're trying to platoon them. They got run defenders. They got pass. It's like, okay, first down, Kittle. They're going to go to Kittle. They went to Kittle 5 times. They could go to him 13 times in this game. Kittle's going to have a big game. Now, I would also expect the Eagles to be bracketing him as much as possible and just put Slay on Deebo and feel good about it. But The Niners I think, are going to. So there's a lot of ways they can go with the linebackers. You can throw to Kittle, but you can also do the end arounds to Debo and get like, instead of having the Eagles linebackers playing a phone booth and attack you between the tackles, which they could probably do, get them running left and right. How athletic are they? That kind of stuff. I think that should be effective.
Yeah, stretch them sideline to sideline with the jet sweeps, and then attack them in the middle immediately behind that defensive line with George Kittle.
Yeah, I mean, you can have Debo coming across. You can fake it to him, and then you can do the RPO with Kittle over the middle. I mean, things like that.
To me, it goes back to that ability to run different plays out of the same formation. If it doesn't look like Shanahan has set this defense up, if we don't see a few of those plays where basically the play call just makes the defense look silly, I'll be disappointed. If Shanahan cannot take advantage of an inexperienced coaching staff at this point on offense with what we saw last week with the talent on this team, that'll be cause for concern for me. I expect the 49ers to gash the Eagles, much like I expect the Eagles to gash the 49ers.
Agree. I expect the same thing. Matt H says small sample, but the read option with Trey feels predictable. Agree. Need to start faking all the gadget stuff with Debo in the backfield off of it. Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to say. Another way to attack these linebackers, Trey Lance. When Harbaugh when Harbaugh used to go against teams with bad linebackers, the Packers, for example, back in the day, I mean, Colin Kaepernick would run for 180 yards or something like that, and they would be spinning around in circles. So if the Eagles have a good plan for the run game the Niners showed last week with Jimmy Garoppolo, bring in Trey Lance, and to Matt's point, don't do all those runs that didn't work against the Lions. Because I know Mike McDaniel's like, well, if we knew, we'd call the ones that would work. Those ones look pretty vanilla. The Niners showed more creativity against the Raiders with their run package than they did against the Lions. So I'd like to see like a more sophisticated, more successful Trey Lance package. And that's not 80% runs. That's some runs, some throws. I would like this. Why not? He threw a touchdown pass. Give him 2 throws in this game. How about 2 throws? And some handoffs, some runs as well. Make it a little bit less predictable. He's important in this game, I think.
Yeah, if the 49ers were setting up something with those 3 predictable runs, they failed to then actually execute whatever it was they were setting up.
Set it up for this. Oh, you think it's going to be a bad run, huh? Oh, here you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is necessary. Perhaps they were holding it back. Perhaps they thought that Detroit didn't have enough, and they were right. Even with all the small mistakes that happened at the end of the game, the 49ers were able to hold on to that no problem. But that's not going to be the case this week. You can't hold any tricks back.
I think you're definitely onto something. Kyle would never say that. But look, he's a very arrogant coach, and I think he also, not that he's arrogant, but he thinks he knows what's going to happen before it happens. He doesn't even have to see it. So he can look at the match and be like, all right, we don't need Brandon Ayuk this week. Let's send him a message. 26 clear out routes for you, Brandon. Afterwards, we'll say it wasn't your fault. It was just Trent Sherfield being so good. But we're going to send Brandon Ayuk a message today. We're going to rest Javon Kinlaw. I mean, I think it's probably that there was some the Lions were awful. It should have been a 41-17 win. The Eagles, to me, like the Lions look like a 3-win team. The Eagles look like a 9-win team. This is a whole different thing.
Yes, and an exciting 9-win team at that. Not one that's going to stall out on offense. They're going to put up some points this year.
The best teams in the NFC East to me are Philly and Dallas. And the thing about Philly is they actually have some stuff on defense. I don't know. I mean, Dallas has some players on defense, I guess, but I think I like Philly's defense better, but we don't need to get into that yet. Voice ad agency says, I know the Lions are not the best defense, but since the Jets last season until now, Jimmy looks like he has the offense down pat. He really looked good against the Lions this year and the Jets last year. What do those two have in common? I don't know. Maybe that they're awful on defense, but I don't want to be the negative guy all the time. Yes, I do. Michael says, get Juice involved. Mullins missed Juice on fullback wheel last year against Eagles. They're going to call it again. First play. Second play. Just to get it right this time.